Good afternoon, guys. So today is the 19th of February, and sorry for the delay of one day because I had some prior engagement to this. I think already you've been seeing in the news a lot of things are happening, so we will have to deal with different kind of people today. Now let us moving on to the first part of the news of the 19th February. The first one is the Quad meet, India-US call for rule of law in Myanmar. Now please understand why this activity is important because Quad is a grouping of four nations who are situated across the continents. So we have Japan, Australia, India, and USA in that. And the things that are happening in Myanmar are related to the continent of Asia. So the two major countries who should be involved in that would be the neighboring countries and the countries who are the extended neighborhood. And when we talk about neighboring countries, China and India are the two major beneficiaries to it, but China does not hold much weight in comparison to the Chinese authorities. So that's why the roping in of the Quad or maybe suggested by the Quad, because we were the major objective of Quad is also open Indo-Pacific and the rule of law in the South Asia without any coercion and without any intimidation from any of the country. Now that's why this particular thing is important, that Quad has now taken a proactive role from the you can say static role that it had occupied earlier, and this is already going to increase. So I think in a way we have decided that we are going to go with the Quad. We are going to engage with the China on one-to-one basis. On certain matters we are going to engage China on one-to-one basis. On certain matters we are going to engage on a Quad part as a collaborative basis. So that is the one thing what India have said, again the same thing that they have said earlier, that they will be looking for all things by the rule of order. The democracy should be restored and all the people should be given the right to subjection of their own regulation. So that is the only thing they have said. The next one is the Puducherry LG order flow test on Monday. Please remember, right now the additional charge has been given to the Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu governor. I'm not able to see now. One of the two states have been given the additional charge of the LG of Puducherry now. What was happening, there were 28 seats and for majority you needed 14 seats. Already they had 14 MLAs which have provided them the majority, and I think 15 seats they required, but now it has been allegations that their total strength in the house has been reduced to 14, and it have actually led to a demand from the people from the opposition that a floor test be conducted, and the floor test will be conducted I think on February 22 by 5 p.m. So that is the date they have fixed, and Congress has 13 MLA over there and 4 DMK MLA they have actually proposed over there. Now that is the whole controversy regarding there, so we will have to see what will happen, whether this government will fall or not fall. Please remember, the removal of Kiran Bedi is completely a different matter. This is not the matter of the majority. The majority is the Congress's matter. How they are able to hold their four together, that is a different issue. And the removal of Kiran Bedi as the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry is a different issue. I think there are one or two articles today, if I remember correctly. We will talk about them. Okay, further moving on, the next news is related to disincline. Now this is related to the inflation. So disincline is that inflation must not be allowed to pose a threat to the macroeconomic stability, and right now what is happening, that the inflation of the pulses and the products, if we have to see, it is currently hovering around 13.5%. For oil and fats, it has stood around at 19.7%. For egg and meat, although their prices have fallen, so we cannot take the increase in the inflation of eggs and meat, but the pulses, the oil and fats, which are the basic need of a home in any society or you can say any economy, because food is the basic need. So if the prices of the food is increasing, that is going to increase all over burden on all the people, and there may be losses on the nutrition part, there may be losses on the consumption part, and there will be different kind of losses that will be encountered. Now when we talk about the consumer price index, the consumer price index is currently hovering around 4.6%. I hope you remember the maximum weight in the consumer price index is of the food articles. So if the food article is there, the consumer price index will be calculating about it. And when we take into consideration the consumer price index, the Reserve Bank of India decide the inflation through the MPC committee by the consumer price index. So we will have to remember all of this. I hope this is clear. The next one is the end of the inning. So this is related to Kiran Bedi, what she have done. Now please understand, this is CM versus LG classic dispute. Now when we talk about the position of the LG in the case of Puducherry, it is directly being defined, but already we have seen different kind of issues, because this is a kind of a double administration system in which both LG and the chief minister has the power related to some subjectivity and related to some interpretation of the articles. Now that have led to type of skirmishes or type of divergence between the two people, and both are constitutional posts who are holding constitutional posts, and these constitutional posts are basically fighting with one another. Now the whole issue is very simple. Kiran Bedi was basically going ahead of Mr. CM, and she has been conducting the meetings of the secretaries over there, openly criticizing the government, what have to be done with respect to the organizing of order, organizing of regarding to the safety of the people. These are some of the issues. However, the CM of the Puducherry was bringing allegations on Kiran Bedi that she is directly interfering into the administration, that is day-to-day administration, and she should stay away from it and should abide whatever the chief minister would have to do. Now she was going directly to the public, establishing contact with them and assuring them that the work will be done. And as she is on constitution post, she can definitely send signals to the chief minister, ask the chief minister of his opinion, and put for his consideration anything that she want to raise. But she was not doing this. I think earlier, before, she have created a WhatsApp group in which all the secretaries were involved, and she was directly interacting with them. So that is a type of double administration against which the CM of Congress government was opposed to. Now Kiran Bedi has been removed because they do not want an unnecessary controversy, because Congress has been successful to tell it to the people that Kiran Bedi is directly disturbing what they want to do. So for any fallout against the political to avoid any political fallout, they have said that they will withdraw this and they will stay away from this. I hope this is clear. Now here the again issue comes that this particular states, or you can say the union territories, who've been provided extra legislature under Article 239, should they be operated in such a way, or should the division of the power that should be existing with the LG and with the chief minister be already provided in the act? Now the parliament can do it. The parliament can provide act which will completely delist that these are the powers of one people and these are the power of other people. So we will have to see, and what will tomorrow bring. These are some of the things that you have to look for. So I hope this is clear. The next news is affecting the social rise, starting a political experiment. Now this is an issue with respect to the reservation within the reservation. Now there was a demand in Tamil Nadu from some members of the scheduled caste to grant them a separate identity and therefore a separate quota. Now the problem with respect to this is a type of a political experiment that is currently happening, and the unique for community this title is they think in necessity that for the upliftment of their community a separate tag and separate quota is needed. But if we go by this particular provision, there will be other communities that will be in other states, they will be demanding the same course. So the government will have to balance these particular actions that they are doing in one state. There may be demands that may be arising in another state. If you recognize a particular community within the scheduled caste, a particular subsect in the scheduled caste, you must say, please understand they have not designated it on the basis of the income. They have not designated on the basis of administrative or any data they have not collected. They have simply said that we have a SC community. In that SC community, this particular SC community, the person who belong to that particular SC community are more backward. So in that SC quota, that is 22.5%, we are designating another type of subsection quota that will be applicable only to these particular community. And they have been classified as OBCs now, and they will be designated. These are some of the theories that have been done. You need not to go into this particular because this person have written an article for whole of the politics of Tamil Nadu. You just need to understand that this is the demand that is currently rising for a quota within the quota. And the Supreme Court is also looking for, because there has been allegation in the SC community also that the cartelization of the quota has been happening, and it had to be or it needed to be done away with. So I hope this is clear. Okay, next one is criminalizing comedy and entertainments. This is very good article. You should read about it because these are the two opinions that they have given. So right now they have already started. Earlier the jokes were around family. Their opinion is, although these person, uh, I think the opinion that is expressed is very small opinion, and direct question on the criminalization of the comedy and entertainment will not be asked, but the effects of the IT Act on comedy and the people and the freedom of the people, how the government can crush the freedom, what is the objectivity, what are the responsibility of the government, these are the all aspects of it. So you will have to balance these particular things and how they will go away with one or two features in that. So again, I would urge you to please read this interview. There is nothing substantial in that, although the concept clarity may happen or may come to you. The next news is make peace with the nature now. So two articles have been suggested here. The first one is the United Nations Environment Program news. Now, when we talk about the current level pollution that is currently existing at 3%, and there may be more rise with respect to the temperature in the earth, that will lead to the more disasters, more falling of the rocks, more melting of the glaciers, more weather phenomenon, and also with respect to the food security. When we talk about the UNEP, they have said that there's a report called as Make Peace with the Nature report. In that they have suggested that if we want to pull out the evidence of the environment decline, then there is a need now that we must not only stop the pollution that we are producing, but we should advance our ideas to reverse whatever the damage that we have occurred on the nature. The transformation of how our habits are with respect to handling the nature, how our policies are with respect to the destruction through infrastructure and all other activities of the nature needed to be done away with. When we talk about net zero emissions, these net zero emissions countries basically who have set the target, but the target is set very far below. Some countries are setting the target for 2050, some countries are setting the target for 2060. That is a huge length of the target that they have set up. We have another 20 or 30 years to look for, and that will create unrepairable damage on the environment. When we talk about the traded market, it is not possible for the developing countries to basically provide resources for both for the saving of the environment and also upliftment of the poor. So they will have to either make a compromise toward the upliftment of the poor or the saving of the environment. Now in that particular case, there may be other resources that could be done. The resources either should be a centrally sponsored funding agency that could provide money to the developing countries. Then the issue will be how the money will be spent in different countries, because nobody is going to give aid for free. So there are other mechanisms in which if a developed country start a project in the developing country, they are incentivized, and the all over emissions that are reduced by the project that was started in the developing countries will be attributed to the developed countries. So in that way, they have started a mechanism that even if developed countries produces, then it will provide some other project in the developing countries. But please understand, if the developed country produce better, the life of the people will be better. They will create opportunities for the people. The whole poverty will go, but in the poor countries, they are still depending on the aid. And it is also argument in the international politics that whether aid works or not, because when you are giving aid, you are only giving aid as a part of compulsion. You are not giving aid for directly upliftment, although most of the countries claim it, but never have you received sufficient aid that can pull out all the people of the poverty. If aid could do it, I think this is the first thing we should go for. The next one is the polluted air have killed 54,000 people in Delhi. There are 54,000 persons who have been killed in 2020. Please remember, 2020 was a year in which most of the Indian state was in lockdown for almost 2.5 months. Still at that particular point, the pollution was there. You can see 54,000 have died of the cardiovascular diseases that was occurred to them because of inhaling air that contained the particulate matter 2.5. Now this is just a data. You can use this particular data, and when we talk about global scenario, approximately 1.6 lakh people have died. So almost 1/3 people have died in the state of Delhi. Now that is a huge number, not in the state of Delhi but in the Union Territory of Delhi. So that is a huge number. Now this particular huge number needed to be reduced, and the conditions are also not good in other countries. When we talk about the estimate of deaths, that is about 25,000 in Mumbai, 12,000 in Bangalore, 11,000 in Hyderabad, 11,000 in Chennai, and 6,700 in Lucknow. So that is the one thing that you have to look for. How to reduce it? We can switch from we have to find the sources from where the particulate matter 2.5 is arising, whether it is from the factories, the automobiles. If we are talking about automobiles, we will have to bifurcate into two parts. We will have to look for the machineries, the public transport, and the private vehicles. So which of the particular section of the vehicles are emitting the maximum amount of pollution, and in those private vehicles we will have to see which are the older, whether the older are emitting more, or the new vehicles, if they are following to the norms up to the mark or not. So in that comparison we will be able to strategically and phase wise reduce and get to the conclusion that these are the first target, or we can simply do a SWOT analysis here. The 80% if you are able to remove, then the other 20% will automatically improve. So I hope this is clear. The next one is Hyderabad wins global treat city status, very very important. Now it is given by Abode Foundation, that is Food and Agriculture Organization. What they have recognized, they have said that the Hyderabad urban forest needed to be recognized, the urban forest that they have maintained. They have given 5 matrices for the measurement. First of all, wherever there is a urban place, they have to first establish the responsibility, then they could set the rules, then know what you have and what you can do, what you cannot do, allocate the resources and celebrate the achievements. These are the 5 measures under which the urban forests are being taken care of, and Hyderabad has been provided the award. Now see the situation. In Hyderabad, we have urban forest, but still in Hyderabad 11,000 deaths are occurring because of PM 2.5. So that means the urban forest that is present over there is still not sufficient, or the pressure of the vehicles on the road is more as compared to what the urban forest could handle. I hope this is clear. The next one is the biometric authentication to benefit the farmers. Now this is the new Modi government scheme. What they want to do, they want to streamline all the payment in online form, in which the payment the farmer used to get in the mandis will be directly transferred to them by the mean of online media. And the government is pushing have urged to the people who are presented in different we can say states and different or working under different RTs and all other people, so that money could be tracked, because it has been often allegation that the RTs are earning huge money. Now that is an alternative way to counter the threshold that RTs has been doing, but it can also be managed otherwise. For example, RTA will pay them full money, but they will have to deposit some of the money back. That can also happen. Now, other issue that is related to technology, there is one thing to propose the idea, there is another thing to implement the idea. When we talk about the proposal of the idea, it is taken on a sample base. But when we talk about the implementation of the implementation of idea is best based on the final outcome. So if there is only one exclusion, it may be a very small number, but for that particular family, the exclusion will be huge and they will lose out on the money that they are out to earn directly. And once the people have to suffer these kind of problems, they often do not go for that particular medium of payment. So on a pilot basis, you should be started. On the basis of pilot basis, we will get to know that what are the various things that we need to work. However, Mr. Piyush Goyal have said that for the government benefits that are needed to be provided to the people, online media is the best media, so that the final person who is getting the money could be tracked from the government sources also. Now that is also true, but I think in India the poor people still not believe in the online media, and the person who are in their late 30s and 40s, they do not have a smartphone. You need smartphone, the infrastructure is not there, you need high connectivity. And then there is the linkages of the Aadhaar and the other system. We have seen automatically in the case of PDS that the exclusion is also high. Some people who are getting less in MG Narega have to travel all the way, because the banking facilities in every villages are not there. So you are making workers work in the villages, but if they have to get the money, they have to travel all the way to the banks. Either the government should make a possibility that even if the payment is paid online, there should be some government official, or maybe from the banking official who will be going over there on that certain day and distributing money to the people. Okay? And point of sale systems and everything can happen. So these are some of the things that are needed to be taken care of. Otherwise, there will be large queues that will be in there. So I hope this is clear. Further moving on, WhatsApp messaging users on privacy. So they have said that we are not sharing anything with the Facebook. You should trust us. We have end-to-end encryption. None of the employees in the Facebook or neither the Facebook can read whatever you are doing, and we are completely away from this. I hope this is clear. This idea is very important. PM moved special visa scheme for medical staff in South Asia. Can we move another scheme, a type of a visa scheme in the South Asia? Because right now we have medical workers for which we can provide a special visa scheme in which they can travel in all the South Asia. Now please understand, I think the dignitaries of the urban department should also be allowed, because there are some things or some problems in the urban cities that is unique to Southeast Asia. Because when we compare the urban cities of Western places, they had different kind of problems. The basic facilities are taken, the water problem is not there, they have huge facilities, the sewerage things are there, but we have lesser money. Our departments does not earn so much, sorry, our urban bodies does not earn so much of the money, so they does not have much or larger resources. So from here they would raise their resources. This is also a unique problem. So the dignitaries of the urban bodies should be also allowed visa-free training or a common course with respect to the education should be started. In this particular case, a visa scheme for medical staff in South Asia, so can they travel freely, and visa on arrival could be given from any of the countries, has been mooted. And the hopes of the reason is generally on the rapid deployment of the vaccine, and the vaccine, as we already know, India has been the major pioneer of the vaccine for the world, and I think this is what we are cashing upon. The next one is the more roads on the Arunachal border. I think one other thing that India should do is it should start the movement or special visa in IT sector also. If the idea in the South Asia is accepted, our people can work in Bhutan, our people can work in Pakistan, in Sri Lanka, or any other region. The SAARC region is one of the very contiguous and highly populous country with great prospect, but it is the least connected in the world because of the problem of Australia and because of the problem of India and Pakistan. The next one is the more road on Arunachal border. So the infrastructure around the border will be increased, and 1100 crore has been allocated for 18-foot wide roads. 590 kilometers is the length that will be given. The lengths are not important. Just remember, earlier India did not provide a policy that was open to all. Now we have shunned away from the restrictive policy. We are working for the active policy, active deployment, active connectivity, easy movement of the logistic, easy movement of the man, and therefore maintenance and repair of the roads. This is a problem to China, because China does not want that India should uplift its border areas, because that will give us an advantage in moving our men and material to the border. So that will pose an immediate threat, as we have seen in the case of Dapsang Plain and the Pangong. So the equivalent amount of army was also deployed on the another side of the border. We have matched up to them, which have forced them. Then we occupied certain critical heights, and these critical heights were basically able to help us in providing an insight into the or you can say to have a type of a negotiations or a type of a disengagement between the two countries. Otherwise, the Chinese were very adamant that they will not leave. But as we talk from the position of the what we can say dominance, so they also had to listen, or the position of the power. This is also very important. But the survey that is being conducted on the gap on the migrant workers, this is going to create problem. Why? Because government is only looking for the NSSO. Although it is happening all over the country, the survey cannot be applicable to all other people. There will be inherited problem in it. The first problem would be, what is the classification of the workers? Whether they are construction workers, whether they are migrant workers, whether they are domestic workers. When we talk about this particular thing, there are certain people who are working in different departments. So how do you reduce the overlapping? Okay, these are so I hope this you understand. Okay, so I will talk about the question on the migrant workers in some other, because I am hopeful that there will be one or two articles that will be coming on it. So we will see that in the upcoming time. The next one is the 25 cities in the Nourishing Neighborhood Contest. So what is the Nourishing Neighborhood Contest? Under the smart city missions, it is being worked out, and they want to make the cities child friendly, or maybe I think we should go ahead. If they are making cities child friendly, we should also make them elderly friendly. But I think single objective is not going to work. And in the case of HP, Dharamshala is the city they are currently looking for, and they will be working in the city of, or they would be working and hoping for that Dharamshala would be covered or provided funding under the Nurturing Neighborhood Contest. Okay, further moving on, the next news is, I think that is okay. Russia Kalashnikov may make AK-203 rifle in India. So there is a possibility that this company will make rifles in India now. So AK-47, I think you have understood. This is the name on this particular person who have named rifles against him, against his own name. And he is planning to start making AK-230 rifle in India. And it may attract a wider audience in the high-tech shotgun. This is what his chief executive officer have said. We have good relations with this company. And the annual revenue, they are targeting a 60% increase in the annual revenue to more than 50 billion rubles, or approximately 675 by 2025 if they work in India. Now, they wanted to envisage or include all the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth connectivity so that it can also synchronize with the smartphones. You can fire it from the smartphone, so the technology with respect to the firing and the safety is also increasing. So I hope this is clear. Okay, so I think that is it for today. कल मिलते हैं. Please remember the name of Dr. Vishanta, and she have recently died. She was the pioneer of the Cancer Institute in Atyar, and read one or two things about it. Sorry, about her. Okay. So I hope this is clear.